Hey guys, it's GameFace here and welcome back to episode 133 of Leeds United Career Mode. Now in today's episode, we're obviously in the January transfer window now, so we're going to be basically just focusing on transfers this episode. Probably won't get around to playing any games at all. We'll just literally be doing loads of transfers, trying to get in players, trying to sell players and that sort of thing. So I'm putting some bids off camera already and we'll see how those bids go as we progress through the emails. Basically, I'm trying to bring in a new winger to kind of replace Ep133 because he's obviously not being used in the team currently. So we'll see how that goes throughout the episode. Before we get into things though, if we could go ahead and hit 20 likes on this video, that'd be really appreciated. Also, if you haven't already, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button as well. That'd be absolutely fantastic. Now, before we get into simming some days, we will request some funds and we'll request 10 million and we'll put everything at its maximum. We'll see whether Leeds are happy to do that and give me 10 million extra, and we'll see how that goes. But we'll wait and see on the bids that I've put in just a few minutes ago. And basically, first of all, Leeds come back and said, does Bust have a future? Does Dochcal, Reyes, Cook and Silvestri all have a future with the club? Hopefully some of them do. We need some of them. And they have decided against giving me 10 million. That's not a good start. We might ask for 5. And if that doesn't go well, we won't bother. Okay, here we go. Plenty of emails coming back here. Player returning from loan. We've got another player as well, Ledesma, coming back. Transfer offer in for Dybala. That's 29 million from Ajax. Quite clearly, nowhere near enough. And again, Leeds have come back and said they don't believe that those additional funds will help us out. So that's very frustrating. We haven't heard back in terms of any transfers yet. Apparently Newcastle and Chelsea are in talks to try and basically sign Courtois. Newcastle want him. Strange, very, very strange thing to happen, but if it does, that will be interesting for them. We will sim this game against Ipswich. We obviously need to try and win these cup matches, get through into the next round if we can, but we don't really have time to play any of these matches in this episode, I wouldn't imagine. So we've lost to Ipswich. Not great. That we're actually out of the Emirates FA Cup. That's not fantastic, but we can now focus on the more important cups. I believe we've already won the FA Cup before. I could be wrong though, but I'm pretty sure we might have already done that. Bid in here for John Stones, 36 million from Chelsea. Reject. Not interested in getting rid of John Stones at all. Next bid is for... go away. We're not interested in getting rid of him. I like seeing some of the offers I get. Oh, right, okay, no I don't. We're going to reject all of them. Okay, next bid is for Quincy Promes, and it's 28 million from Dortmund. Again, another one that I'm not interested in getting rid of, especially not for that insulting amount, really, isn't it? Miles off the price. Now then, let's have a look with these bids. None of them particularly successful by the looks of it. West Ham have come back and said they're interested in the player, but they want 12 million as well. Now, Kostic, I think is how you pronounce his name, is a player I've been scouting. Very fast, decent looking winger. Dribbling wise, looks fantastic. Shooting as well is what I'm after. And a player that I've been chasing for a little while now off camera. We're going to ask and see if they will give him for 5 million and Ntep. They're after 12 and Ntep, but I think that's a little bit ludicrous. Not too interested in Ntep there, Arsenal, for the Walcott deal, so we won't go ahead with that one. Real Sociedad coming back and saying they're also not interested as part of the Vela deal, and PSG doing the same as well. We've got actually Juventus coming back and saying they will consider it for the Asamoah deal. They want 13 million as well. Why? He's got 6 months left on his deal. He's 32 years old. This game needs to be improved. I mean, seriously, 15 million is what Ntep is worth. An extra 5 on that, and it's obviously around 20 million that we're actually paying for Asamoah, who's only got 6 months left on his contract. Ridiculous, really. I think we'll leave these two here for now. We'll see. Actually, I actually offered them 15 million and Ntep. That's 30. Chief Executive reckons he's worth about 29.7 at its most. So I'm not going to bother overpaying more on that. That's, again, another ridiculous one that they've decided to reject. We will go ahead a little bit further with this, though. 8 million in Ntep. See what they say. Again, another player with not much longer left on his contract. A year and a half. So we'll see whether we can get him. I don't really think we'll be able to get him on the cheap, to be honest. With this game and the way it works, sadly, you can't really get players on the cheap with 6 months left on a deal. We've got some players here that we're going to try and get up in overall. Ashby needs to get to 70 overall, really, to have any chance of coming into the team. Some of them, out of those players, I've tried to promote because I think we're getting to that part of the season now where we need to get our best players in the squad, but we've obviously got our maximum squad currently, so I can't actually promote Ashby and a couple of others as well. In fact, we've got a 72 overall keeper here. I can't promote him because we have our maximum space in our squad, so we're going to try and get rid of some players as well, hopefully, in this episode. More transfer offers in, this time for Killock, one of the players we do want to sell. Barnett, come on. We're going to accept it anyway, but, I mean, how much are you going to undercut that value? I mean, it's completely ridiculous. They should have just matched what he's worth, but they didn't, and we've actually accepted it. We've also put in a bid for Mertens as well. He can play left winger. I think he's 32, is it now? 33, in fact. So we're going to try and get him in still. They're not interested in Antep, but with 8 million on top, maybe they will be. Real Madrid, what winger do you think we're after here? Yes, it's Cristiano Ronaldo, and they're not interested in Antep. So maybe that one won't go too much further. But he's 35 now, 94 overall still. Value-wise, not that high. So we'll wait and see whether we can get Ronaldo in, and we'll have to see how that goes this episode. More transfer offers in. We got Quincy Promes, a bid in for him, 37.5 million from Man United. No, thank you. He's just recently got up to 88 overall, which is fantastic. Valencia, go away, please. 29.5. That's insulting again. And we got a bid in for Calvin Phillips, a player I'm actually interested in getting rid of. 3.2 million. This is Sunderland. I can't remember what I've transfer listed him. I think I have. I'm not 100% sure, but he is a player that probably needs to move on. He's not really been playing too much recently, so we can't afford to really keep him at the club. In the last episode, you might have seen the very last game that we played. We lost to Man United, so we're currently 3 points behind them. Game against West Ham now, we will be seeing that one as well. This could really backfire if it doesn't go well. We could be even further behind Man United, but we need to think positive. We need to get the win. Oh, I've got to draw. It's 2 points lost as far as I'm concerned. But sadly, we have to do that. Luckily for us, Man United, I think, have just lost. So we're only 2 points behind them. Aston Villa now on level points with us. So they're catching up as well. Transfer offer in for Entep. Okay, this might be an opportunity to get rid of him for some money. We're going to ask for 15.5, what he is worth, and maybe they'll increase the bid by 3 million. Okay, Juventus. Okay, PSG coming back and saying they're not interested in the player again. Okay, we're not going to go for that deal, but Juventus coming back and saying they will have Entep and 5 million for Asamoah, a player that we looked at previously, and we're obviously going to hopefully try and get him in. He can play centre mid as well, so a Calvin Phillips replacement potentially at some stage. Lee Lucas going out of form a little bit for my liking, so maybe he'll come in at centre mid. Add a little bit of pace, a little bit of quality in the midfield, and we'll try and get him in, see what happens there. Obviously, we've got to also see whether we can get rid of Entep for money, and that, if that happens, we might be able to get Ronaldo for money as well. More bids coming in. Everyone wants our players. Napoli, 27 million for Ian Taylor. Wow, it's a big bid, and quite rightly as well. He's a good player in terms of his overall and age, but we are going to reject it. And another bid in for Dybala. I think we'll just reject all, to be honest. 33.5 million. Not good enough. West Ham have come back and accepted the bid we put in for their player, 5 million in Entep. I think we'll go ahead with this one. We won't necessarily agree to it, but we'll go import a first team player for now, and we'll see what they say to that contract offer. And Killock's been sold to Barnet as well, so we've managed to get a player off our wage budget and that sort of thing, which is good, because then we can get in players now. More transfer offers in, this time for Rasulu, I think is how I pronounce his name. I believe he's Italian, but I could be wrong there. Our centre forward, 19 years old, 69 overall. And a bid in for PSG, 1.7 million. I think we'll accept it. I can't see him playing too many games for us towards the end of the season, so we'll try and get him off the books. Another bid in, this time for Andre Silva. We'll just reject that one from Malaga. Actually, a reasonable offer, to be fair to them, but I'd still want in the 30s, and we've not got that. Ronaldo, again, unlikely to join us by the looks of it, but we are going to still persist with this bid. I just don't know how much more we can offer them. Maybe just an extra 500,000. We'll wait and see whether Entep is sold, and we'll see how that deal goes before we can put in a serious bid for Ronaldo. Now on to the next game against Hull. Again, sending it through the calendar, not too much option. I'm going to have to try and fly through things a little bit quicker, as I've been saying the last few episodes. How have we done? Oh, draw. How have we drawn against Hull as well? Still 2 points behind Man United, so they're clearly drawn. They've clearly drawn as well. Actually, no, we're not 2 points behind Man United, and we are 4 points. I was thinking we were Villa for a second for some reason, because they did win Man United 2-0 against Everton. So, 4 points behind Man United. Need to try and catch them up. Performance-wise, not good enough from us recently. Sunderland have come back and said they'll pay 2.6 for Calvin Phillips. We'll accept that. I think we need to get some players off the books here in order to get some in. And we've also got Sam Pandora coming back, and we'll just agree to that deal, I believe. It's going to be, I think, the best offer we're going to get for him in terms of cash. And Valencia have come back and said, again, not interested in the player we include as part of the deal. So we'll see whether we can get in the cash for Entep and then put in a more reasonable bid for somebody else. Okay, West Ham have got back to us, and they said they've actually accepted the contract the player has here. But we're not going to go ahead with it just yet, because I think I would rather Entep be sold, to be honest. We got Ian Taylor. I offered him a contract, gave him everything he was after, but he was wanting a greater squad role, so he's not going to accept the contract. Frustrating. I offered him an important first-team player. He obviously wants crucial by the looks of it. We've also got some more progress here. This time, Rasulu has been sold to PSG, and we've got Real Madrid again saying not interested in the player. Asamoah accepts the contract, though, so he could potentially come in if I wanted to. But do I want to, or don't I? It's difficult. I might have to take a couple of minutes to decide on this one. Okay, we are actually going to accept this one. I think we will, rather than getting the money for Entep. I am quite happy with this one. I think it's the best offer we're going to get for him. So we'll get rid of Entep through this deal rather than through money, and that means obviously that kills a few of the other deals. But there's still a little bit of hope that we might get him Ronaldo. I've come up with a couple of ideas. Potentially, we could still get him in. Okay, this is the idea. Quincy Promes, straight trade for Ronaldo. He's worth 36.5 million, 88 overall. He's not performed great. He's done some okay things, but he's still not scoring as many goals as I want from a player in his position. So, straight trade for Ronaldo. We'll see what happens. We've got, obviously, enough wage to try and get him in. If they're interested, then this could be a big deal for us. A really good deal as well to try and trade up to Ronaldo to finish off the season with him in the team. More bids coming in, this time for Sava. That's a £4.4 million bid from Bayern Munich. I think I want his value, to be honest. Another player that actually looks quite good, 21 years old, 74 overall. If I was continuing this series on for another few seasons, then I'd keep him, but we're not. So we're going to get rid of him, sadly. To lose, actually a reasonable bid, but we'll reject that one for Ian Taylor, even though, you know, it's quite a bit of a surprising bid, to be honest, from them. Wasn't expecting that sort of money to be splashed. We need to wait and see on the Ronaldo bid now. Player sold, and that's Calvin Phillips. He's gone to Sunderland. More money coming in from the FA Cup, actually going out of the FA Cup, and they are interested in the player, but they want 15 million. Ooh, okay, this could actually be on the table here. Okay, we'll go 10. I think 10's more reasonable than 15. I want to negotiate. I'm not just going to give him everything, and we'll see what they say to that. Chelsea coming for one of our young keepers. We'll let him go. He's not great for his age, really, so he can go to Chelsea. And another transfer offer in, this time for Joe Lowe, 19 years old, 74 overall. Another player I'd like to get more use out of, and another player that I'd keep if we were doing it for another couple of seasons. But we're not, so again, I think I'm just going to ask for his value, and if Bournemouth choose to match it, they can have him, I think. Okay, now onto the Leicester game. We are going to sim this one again, but I think we won't sim it through the calendar this time. We are going to try and sim it through the standard route, I think, is what we'll do. So we'll bring in Asamoah into this side, and we'll also put in a few of the higher overall players in there as well, and see how we get on. We'll sim it, like I say, through the usual route, hopefully get ourselves the victory that we deserve with this team. I mean, come on, we've got a better team than Leicester. Look at us. Look at the players we have. We've got Stones at the back, 88 overall, another 88 rated player, loads of good players around the team, and Leicester not in good form recently, so this should be a win. Without a doubt, it really should. We're going to skip it. We've won the game 2-1. Stones gets the sending off, but Tevez gets the 2 goals. So we'll take it, and we'll move on now, because we've got the 3 points from that match, which is obviously what we're after. Bayern Munich coming back and saying they're just going to pay 4.4 million. That's it. They don't want to pay any more. I think we'll accept it. I can't see him playing any part in this team, to be honest, especially if we get him Ronaldo and a couple of other players. I can't see him fitting into the side. Oh, Real Madrid have accepted it. 10 million and Quincy Promes. I'm happy with that deal, definitely. We'll go with, I think the 1-year contract is fair. We're only going to be continuing until the end of the season, so it's not like I need to get on a good deal anyway. Crucial first team player, 300 grand a week. I think what he will say is that I want to relocate or whatever, something like that, but we've got an extra 100 grand to offer him, so I'm not too worried. Also got one of our young keepers there going to Chelsea. That deal has been finalised. More transfer offers in, this time for Ter Stegen. Go away. Pathetic offer. And another one in for Dan Feeney, another one of our young keepers. 20 years old, 69 overall, from Birmingham. I think we're going to ask for maybe 1.8 million. That's more reasonable, I'd imagine, really, for his age and obviously his overall. Bournemouth come back and said they will match the bid for Joe Lowe of 3.8 million, that counter offer that we asked for, which is good news. He's on the way out, after we probably won't be using him, to be honest. Game against Blackburn now. Another match we should be really winning, given our team, but it's the first leg of the semi-final of the Capital One Cup. These matches aren't our priority. It's obviously the league and the Champions League that I want to win this year, but we have won the game 2-1. That's good for us, because that gives us the advantage going into the next match. Player sold, that is Sava going to Bayern Munich. 4.4 million, we get about 3 point something for that. That deal, that's not too bad. We've got a bid in there for Diego Reyes, a player that wants to leave, but certainly won't be leaving. We need him. We really do need him as part of our squad depth this season. Ho, 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 it's happening. Cristiano Ronaldo has accepted the contract. Was not expecting that. Wow. We have signed Cristiano Ronaldo. Wow. Okay, 94 rated Ronaldo is now in our team at Leeds. Okay, yes, we had to get rid of Promes, which maybe some people won't have been too happy with, but he wasn't performing in game. So why not? Let's get in Cristiano Ronaldo, as you do. And he will nicely fit in on the left, on the right, wherever really. We'll put him on the right for now, even up front if we need him. So we'll wait and see how he goes. I'm really hoping he's worth the money and obviously the wage that we're paying him. It really should be, to be honest. 94 rated. We'll have to get a couple of games in at some point with him. That might be next episode, though, given the fact we're trying to get the transfers done this episode. Speaking of transfers, another one in for one of our loan players. I think he returned from loan. I could be wrong recently. But that's one of our youngsters. 18 years old, 62 overall. We'll accept it. By Leverkusen, another player we need to get off the books because we won't really be using him. More players sold. Joe Lowe has gone to Bournemouth. Player returning from injury, that's Ramirez. That's fantastic news for us. And yet again, more bids. Barca coming in for one of our youngsters. A lot of the big clubs doing this for our young players. That's a good sign for us. And yeah, Yeovil also. Yeovil and Barcelona coming in for our young players. We'll accept that one yet again. Vazquez that time. And West Ham putting a bid for Andre Silva. Not interested, thanks. Birmingham coming back on Dan Feeney and saying 1.2 million. Yeah, why not? Let's get rid of him. We've got Silvestre, we've got other backup keepers as well. Some players coming through the youth academy, which we'll try and promote at some point. And there we go, we got rid of a couple of youngsters. So getting some players off the books so we can get in some more better young players from our youth academy. That is what we're trying to do here. Scotland want me, I don't want to be with them, thank you. Dan Feeney's gone to Birmingham, we'll get $1 million of that. Another bid in for a player that we transfer listed from QPR. Let's accept that one. 71 overall, 21 years old, and will not be used for the rest of this season. Another player sold, that is the youngster there, the centre-back going to QPR. Another place in the team, in the squad that we've actually freed up, which is fantastic for us. On to the Blackburn game, another match we are going to be simming. We won the previous leg 2-1. We should really win this one as well, but yeah, 5-0, 5, I think that's a win. I think you can call that a win. That is 7-1 on aggregate. Fantastic news. Into the final now. Don't worry, we will be playing the final. Don't you worry about that. Player injured, out for 2 weeks. That is ter Stegen. Not great, because Silvestre is the alternative keeper that we have. It's not fantastic. Sam Byram is happy that he played the last match, although I have no reason why he played the last match, to be honest. We are currently 4 points behind Man United still. Villa on the same amount of points as us, so we need to catch up United as soon as possible. We've played all the games now against them, so we can't really catch up to them through that. We've obviously taken 3 points off each other in those games. Let's change around these youngsters. They're not really growing the last couple of weeks, so we'll see what we can do with them. Okay, when I say change round, I've really just added Djakpa, to be honest. Let's simulate all of these drills, try and get them going up if we can. Maybe this will be a better week. Yes, there we go. Gordon and Agiman going up to 73 overall. Fantastic news. We need to promote him along with Ashby as well. We'll do that now. Okay, so I've offered loads of the youngsters new contracts. Contracts to come into the side. So that is exactly what we're going to do. Hopefully try and get a couple of them coming in. Spain want me. No point going ahead with that. Lewis Cook bidding for him. Want to keep him. He's part of the squad depth and a player that, yes, won't be playing loads, but it's someone that we will need to use at some point, I'd imagine, between now and the end of the season. So he will be staying. Game against Watford before we end the episode. We'll also, I think, pretty much complete transfer deadline day. We'll get rid of this right back. We've got another right back coming in from the youth academy. I believe he's 61 overall. If he accepts the contract, then he will come in and be our third choice right back. So we can afford to get rid of that youngster. And we've got a couple of players here actually accepting, in fact just the one player accepting the contract, the goalkeeper, 73 overall now, comes into our senior squad. And we've got rid of the young right back too. I think, was that Dagenham Redbridge? Something like that, I think. So game against Watford, we'll sim it again through the calendar. Not ideal, I know, I've said it 1,000 times, but it's something that we sadly have to do. Let's see, another draw. How many draws are we going to get? We can't afford to be drawing so many matches. And that means we are still only 3 points behind, though, luckily. I think that means Man United lost. So if we won that game, we'd have been in a much better position. But sadly we didn't. But they did lose to Tottenham 2-1. So we have regained on them slightly, just by a point. More transfer offers in, more players accepting the contracts that we offered them. But let's have a look at these to begin with. No, let's just move on from that one. We'll reject all offers for him. Bid in for Schürrle, and you can go away as well. That is a ridiculous amount for a player that's been on fantastic form for us. Hopefully going to have quite a quiet transfer deadline day. I don't plan to make any signings. We'll quickly just have a look at the budgets. I don't think we need to, do we? I might just go through the squad again. Oh, go on then, I'll put in another bid for another winger, just because we've got the money spare. Why not improve the team? This is the last chance I have to try and improve this Leeds squad before we end the series. So we may as well spend all the money, bring another winger. Arnautovic is going to be the player I'll go for. Let's see whether that deal can happen. Bidding for Gordon, 6 million. No thanks. He's gone up to 77 overall recently. Yes, his positioning is really poor, but we won't agree to that. 21 million for Arnautovic, and you can go away for that sort of amount. Who could we chuck in as part of the deal? Loopy will do, 4.6 million. Will they agree to it? Probably not, but let's find out. We found out that they will agree to it, actually. They've accepted the bid. Fantastic news. Arnautovic seems to be coming in. I hope he does anyway. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, we'll offer him an important first-team player, same amount of contract and stuff like that. Yep, he will happily come in for that. 16 million and a late deal for us on transfer deadline day. Loopy going the other way. Again, a player that I've used so many times in-game, but he really hasn't been fantastic. So sadly, another player that, again, I would have kept if we're doing another few seasons, but in the short term, not good enough for him to stay at the club. Transfer offer in for Lee Lucas? No. Transfer offer in for Kurt Zuma? No as well. Oh, quickly, just a little note here. Courtois just casually moved to PSG for 54.5 million. It's maybe a little bit of a step up from Newcastle, that one. And that concludes our transfer deadline day. That is it. We've done all the 10 hours of it. We brought in some new players here and there as well. Fantastic stuff. Obviously, the highlight being Cristiano Ronaldo. And if you're going to tell me that Ronaldo is injured here from a training injury, I'm going to go mad. Oh, it's Andre Silva. 2 months. A torn hamstring in training. What are you doing in training? Seriously? Of course it would do that. You want to leave next transfer window. You want to leave. You want to leave. You want to leave. Well, good news. You won't be, because that is the final transfer window of this series before we go into, obviously, FIFA 17, West Ham and Dortmund career modes, that sort of thing. So that is everything for this episode. We'll get into playing with Ronaldo and Arnautovic, some of the other players I brought in as well, Asamoah. That will all happen in the next episode when we're playing some more matches. This one was purely based on transfers. So that is it. Thank you all so much for watching. Obviously, 20 likes will be really appreciated for the fact that we brought in Ronaldo and some other fantastic players in this episode. So hopefully you guys agree with those signings. If we could go ahead and hit 20 likes, that'd be really appreciated. Also, if you haven't already, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button as well. That'd be absolutely fantastic. I feel like I've gone on for far too long in this episode. Hopefully not too long for you guys to stop watching. But yeah, that is it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time, and goodbye.